Welcome to Managing Asia. I'm Christine Tan in Penang, Malaysia, to speak with Gek Khim, who is leading one of the oldest companies in Singapore, and how she's transforming the company into a real estate powerhouse. Gek Khim has been running Straits Trading since 2008, after her family's investment company, Tecity Group, took control following a highly public bidding war. Since then, she's taken the legacy tin smelting business that was founded in 1887 and transformed it to focus more on becoming a major player in real estate and hospitality. It's currently constructing its most ambitious project to date, Straits City, an integrated development in the Malaysian state of Penang. It sits just across the water from the popular tourist destination that is Penang Island. Straits Trading is developing the 40-acre site worth $614 million, and the project coincides with the state government's Vision 2030 plan for the region. Straits City is your flagship development project. Is this development going to be a big game changer for Straits Trading as well as for Penang?
It's a big game changer for Penang. I wouldn't say it's a game changer for the whole of Straits Trading. It's a game changer for our development arm because they've never done something on such a scale. They've done smaller developments. I'm optimistic it's a game changer for Penang because, this whole area, which was at one time looked at as a poorer cousin of Penang Island, is now coming up. And you can see that with Penang Central on the left, which is a transport hub, access to Straits City will be very easy.
We're still in the early stages of development.
Yes.
What is your vision for the entire project once it's completed by 2038?
My vision is for this to be a CBD, an alternative CBD to the island. And it's logical because the island is far too congested. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, which is attractive, but at the same time, that restricts the changes you can make. Whereas down here is really a white site.
Your late grandfather, Tan Chun Duan, was the very reason why you engineered that dramatic takeover of Straits Trading back in 2008. If he were alive today and seeing this development here in Penang, what would be his reaction?
I like to think that he would be pleased, but I don't think it would just be this development. I like to think that he'd be pleased because we've done something with the company. We've transformed it. And we've also used existing resources to try to make it relevant for people. So with the improvement in the smelting technology, we're now decommissioning the old smelter. We're going to add the available land to the land that Straits Trading owns, and we're going to do a much bigger development. Hopefully it will meet the needs of the people that are going to live here.
Cost-wise, is this project going according to plan? Do you anticipate any surprises?
The team has been excellent. We've stuck to budget, so that's all right. The problem with surprises really is because of external circumstance. To be fair, the US-China conflict has played to our advantage because of all the factories and businesses that have set up here. On the other hand, things could go wrong as well. There could be a real war, which I think is a low risk, but you never know. There could be changes in supply chains. So it's very difficult to tell at this point in time. And of course, there could be a financial war. And with the financial system, then you have currency fluctuations, you'll have interest rates going haywire. So these are all the variables that could happen.
This development is part of your 16-year journey to transform Straits Trading into a diversified investment conglomerate focused on high yields in real estate and property. Do you still harbor ambitions to be the next Blackstone of Asia?
What I do hope is I hope to build a property ecosystem. And that's exactly what Blackstone has. So right now, we have a fundraising arm, which is still incipient, I'd say. We still haven't quite got everything there because we're also trying to raise money from the retail public through fractional investments. We have a real estate fund called Straits Real Estate, and that one invests in, a lot of times it invests in completed properties, repurposes them, and then sells it. Then we have a development arm called called SDPL, Straits Development Properties Limited, which is developing properties, and this is the largest so far. And then we have a small stake in ESR, which is a property asset manager. So we're trying to build a full ecosystem where people can invest in different things. It's still work in progress.
As a real estate investor, you own Straits Real Estate with 2 billion Singapore dollars worth of assets spread out across Asia. You also have a 3.9% stake in the enlarged ESR, which is Asia Pacific's largest real estate and asset manager with about 156 billion US dollars of assets. You also own business and retail parks in the UK. What else would you like to add to your real estate portfolio?
I don't look at it as adding another asset. I think about it as improving the existing businesses because we have the skeletal framework of an ecosystem. And we would like to deepen and try to be relevant to what the public needs. So for example, in Straits Real Estate, we take old buildings, we repurpose them and we sell them. We've always thought of it as being economically efficient, but we also realize that it's environmentally friendly because you're not pulling down a building and rebuilding. Another area where we think we can go deeper would be in the area of work. Currently, we own office buildings, but the nature of work has changed, so you need to make changes there. And the other area we're looking at is what we can do for an aging population. In many developed countries, you have populations that are aging, and the demands of an aging population would be quite different from that of a young population.
Let's talk about your tin smelting business. That's where your legacy roots come from.
Right.
There have been lots of questions about whether it remains a good fit within the overall group because it's been slow to unlock value and generate returns. You've turned down offers for Malaysia's smelting over the years.
Yes.
Are you still sticking to your gut instincts?
Yes, I'm known to be very stubborn. I believe that we have started to see a big turnaround in Malaysian smelting. The reason we have seen a resurgence is multiple. First of all, a lot of tin mining and smelting companies have closed down, so there's less competition. Second, because of the electric vehicles and electronics, there's a huge demand for tin in batteries, and people don't realize that. They're looking at lithium and cobalt, but there is demand for tin as well. Third, we've discovered new technologies which has improved efficiency, and that actually has improved margins. Finally, we will be decommissioning the tin smelter here, and we have started up the new smelter in Klang. So when this finally shuts down, we will have released a lot of land, which can then be redeveloped. So all in, I'm confident I made the right decision.
I know you like recycling assets. What happens if you get an outrageous offer for your tin smelting business?
I think if it's outrageous, I will have to look at it very seriously. Definition of outrageous will vary. The offeror will always think it's outrageous. The person receiving it will always think it's not high enough. But I have very great ambitions for tin, so it will take a lot for it to be outrageous.
So there's nothing to hold you back, even though it's part of your legacy business?
Yes. So legacy would have a price as well, but no, philosophically, no, conceptually we shouldn't.
Straits Trading's chairman, Gek Khim, hails from a prominent family in Singapore. Her grandfather, the late Tan Chin Tuan, was a high-profile businessman and philanthropist. He played a key role in expanding Singapore Bank OCBC when he was its chairman. He also founded the family's investment company, Tecity Group, which Chew joined in 1987. Straits Trading is part of Tecity Group, which is founded by your late grandfather, Tan Chin Tuan. He was very close to you. Do you remember the day he told you to buy over one of the companies he acquired during his tenure? What was that conversation like, and what was your reply?
My grandfather was a man of few words. You know, he was typical of his generation. He didn't say that much. But he said to me, you must save one of the companies I built up. You must do it. So that's one. And I didn't reply, I just kept quiet. But I think I remembered that request. And I felt an obligation to do something. Looking back, I can better appreciate his reasons. At that time, I thought he's just sentimental. But looking back, I had an interesting question asked to me. What would he like to be remembered for? And I think he liked the idea of buying these companies because it wasn't just about money. It was about the rise of Asia. Because he lived during a period of colonialism where the Chinese and Asians were treated as second class. So to be able to buy these companies, whether it's F&N or Raffles Hotel or Straits Trading, was to show that the locals could do it. And that's why it meant a lot to him.
You're getting sentimental as you think about it.
Perhaps, yes.
Well, you've honored his wish. You've wrested control of Straits Trading. What is the most valuable business lesson you've learned from him?
The most valuable business lesson is that don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to fail. He said, you know, Kim, it's okay to fail. Just make sure you can get up again.
Today, you sit at the helm of both Straits Trading as well as Tecity Group. You're a lawyer by training.
Yes.
You call yourself an accidental businesswoman. How would you describe your leadership and your management style?
I never really think about my management style. But a lot of it was common sense. You know, you just have a job and you have to do it. So I try my best to treat everybody with respect and integrity. I try my best to be fair. I try to be practical. I try to look at solutions from many angles. I expect a degree of conscientiousness from my staff. You know, I get very annoyed when people don't do what they're supposed to do. So that shows. I try very hard to be patient. I'm not always patient. I'm known to be, you know, very quick and impatient. So, but generally, I don't think of it as a leadership style. I think of it as a way of living.
Your grandfather once said that you were undiplomatic, quote unquote, in the way you deal with people. Has that changed over the years?
I've tried my best. I don't think I have improved all that much. He came from a generation where people were more formal, where people were polite and didn't speak up. I've tried my best to be more diplomatic, but fortunately for me, the mood is changing and people are more forthright. So maybe I suit the mood of the current generation.
As you continue to steer the company, is there a next generation of leaders that you're grooming within the company? What do they look like?
There is a next generation. There's always a team of next generation leaders. The challenge is trying to figure out what the future needs, because the next generation leader should not be a clone of you. And the challenge will be trying to figure out what the future needs. Do you need somebody more open-minded? Do you need somebody who's technically strong? It really depends. And it depends on the timing, and it depends on how the future pans out.
You've won many awards, and you've been ranked one of Asia's most powerful businesswomen. What advice would you give other women on how to be successful?
I think they have to first define what success is. You know, men have a smaller, narrower definition of success because men associate success with work. So if I do well in work, I'm successful. But women have a much wider definition. So I would say to women, you have to first figure out what success means to you. Does it mean work-life balance? Does it mean being a good mother? Does it mean being a good daughter? It could be, or does it mean, you know, fulfilling some other dream? And once you figured it out, I don't think it's difficult to achieve. The problem is when you have to define success based on an external definition, then you have a lot of conflict.
And finally, under your leadership, you've transformed Straits Trading from a tin smelting business into a diversified investment conglomerate focused on real estate and property. What is your ultimate ambition for the 137-year-old company?
My ultimate ambition is to build businesses that are stable, that are sustainable, that give returns, and that it constitutes a company that people can trust and invest in.
Thank you, Ms. Chu, for talking to me.
Thank you.
And I've been speaking with Gek Khim, Chairman of Straits Trading. Hope you've enjoyed the program. For more interview highlights, check out managingasia.cnbc.com. I'm Christine Tan. Thanks for watching.